Welcome to our
Ooh.
Creation Care collaboration. Let's begin with a prayer tonight. Let us pray. Oh God, your beauty surrounds us, and we are filled with awe and wonder as flowers begin to bloom and trees begin to bud. And we are also filled with concern as it is way too warm, too early. And so we come to you, oh God, for your guidance and for your care, for your inspiration and your hope. For together, working in your love and with one another, we can take steps to care for this beautiful creation and everything you have made. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, it's so good to see you all. I just get so much inspiration just by gathering. So thank you for being here. It just warms my heart. So tonight, do you all, I think, have we all met? Jane is from Columbia. She's been on before, I think. So just glad to have you here from lots of different places. And we're going to do some sharing about Earth Month and other things that are going on. Um, want to just kind of run through a little bit first. I'm going to share my screen about where things are on the plan and let you see some of the things that are available through the website in terms of resources for Earth Month. One of these things here, I'll show you this. One of the things we put in is this guide to gathering that actually Phoebe Morad of National Lutherans Restoring Creation had put together. And this uses the concept of the World Cafe, and there are some resources there that can help you with that. It's designed to get people into small groups and get them talking about the 5 areas of congregational life. And then have we watched the video about the earth is good, this little 2-minute video? Have we seen that together?
I don't
I'm
remember.
gonna I'm gonna show it. It's very inspirational. This was put together last year by Lutherans Restoring Creation. Now I'm going to see if I can share it. I put my sound on.
Jesus said, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Well, here are the facts. These are true, and I don't feel free. I feel buried under facts. And while it is a fact that the world is getting dangerously hotter, that humans are to blame, and that we are running out of time, there is more to be said than can fit in the trend line of parts per million atmospheric analysis and the background extinction rate and congressional deadlocks and fossil fuel subsidies. The Earth is good. And it's not naive to believe that that fact matters just as much as the others. The Earth is good and it is worth saving. It's worth serving. This world is worth serving. Isn't it worth believing in? Christians have a stubborn belief that the ultimate truth of the world is healing. That isn't a denial of death or woundedness. It's a refusal to let those facts crowd out the whole truth. The world in fear and despair and pain is in desperate need of faith, hope, and love. And so are we. These are gifts that God offers lavishly, foolishly, abundantly. We cannot do the work of serving this world if we are not rooting ourselves in the gifts that we need most of all. This is a call to everyone who feels buried alive under the weight of the climate disaster, who mourns what we have lost and fears what is to come. Do not do this alone. Faith, hope, and love are not luxuries. They are as essential as food and water and air. So come to the table, to the water, to the spirit of the one who loves you. Receive the love that you hope to give, wounded hand to wounded heart. May God Creator bless you and keep you. Amen.
So that's just a brief little video. It can be used for a kind of an opening or just as a way for people to help frame why we do this work. I love that line that faith, hope, and love are as important to us as air and the air we breathe. That as people of faith, we know that. So that's a good little short piece. And again, it's in that Guide to Gathering link that you might use for something. Also, if you do any tree planting, this tree planting liturgy is actually from the 500th anniversary of the ELCA a few years ago, but it's very easily adaptable if you want to use that. Interfaith Power and Light has their Climate Action Week during April. They also have, and it's on food and faith. They also have a film that you can screen in your church, and during the month of April, it's free. And so you can find that link on the website for IPL under Climate Justice, Climate Action Week. Here, let me just show that to you. So this shows you some different things, and then the film, the featured film this year is Common Ground. And so it's a great opportunity if you're going to be able to watch it to do it free. So that's, but it's the connection between faith and food. And so those
So
are some
this year,
great,
that's the theme.
yeah, Common Ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Every year it's a different theme.
Right. And there are other videos from other years. So if you want to do a different theme, that's okay. You can, but there's a lot of, they have a lot of good films down here. For those of you who are in Kansas, the Hot Times in the Heartland is being shown in several different places, and you can go on Facebook and find if there's a showing that's near you. I know there was one in Topeka. There are a couple in Kansas City. So I don't know, Steve and Kathy, if you were able to get to that. But
We did.
good.
It's worth seeing. Yes.
Oh, good. I'm going to go. Excellent. I'm going to go to the one of the ones here in Kansas City. Then another.
So Noni,
yeah.
I just want to mention something that I use every year for Faith Climate Action.
Yeah.
Well, from their materials. I don't necessarily observe Faith Climate Action Week per se, but every year one of the things they offer are postcards for advocacy.
Yes.
It's very simple. You can either order the pre-printed ones from them at a very nominal cost, or you can get the template and print them out yourself for nothing other than supply cost. And it's a simple thing for people to do, to fill out their name and address, and then you just send them back to Interfaith Power and Light, and they actually take them to Congress and see to the distribution of them. Well, Congress or whoever they're going to, because one year they were targeting Toyota. So they handle actually getting them to where they need to get to. And it's a really easy eco-justice advocacy activity because they provide the materials. You just have to hold some kind of event where you invite people to come and sign postcards.
Yeah, this year I pledged to vote.
So I use those postcards every year.
Yeah, I pledged to vote with climate and creation in mind. So it's just it's everything they do is nonpartisan. It's always just to get people involved. And so this one I think is particularly helpful because it's not even about a specific bill or anything. It's just to get people engaged in the process and connect their faith. So it's really, and I got the kit, but these are good. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah,
Lisa.
They tend to use that pledge to vote with creation / climate in mind. They tend to use that in major election years, and then on the other years they'll feature other specific issues, right?
Specific
but
issues.
Yeah, I love the postcards. So even if you don't want to use the other materials, the postcards are great.
And you don't have to get the whole kit to get the postcards. You can just get the postcards. So if you just go on
That's right.
Yeah.
You can just order the postcards.
Right. Yeah. So it says, I pledge to care for creation and protect my neighbors. I pledge to vote and to care for every living creature and every community suffering the impacts of our changing climate, from extreme heat to wildfires, to devastating droughts, to flooding, to more frequent and supercharged storms. By pledging to be a consistent voter and to vote with climate justice in mind, I am communicating my faithful values of caring for our sacred earth for current and future generations and building a better world for all. So, yeah. So there are lots of good resources there. Also, for Earth Week, Creation Justice Ministries has a campaign called Plastic Jesus. So if you want to do some things on plastic, there are good resources there as well. We're going to use the Creation Justice Ministries, so I haven't looked a lot at the Plastic Jesus, but plastic is a good thing to do any time of the year. I know that Drawdown does a plastic challenge, no plastic challenge in July, and it's a huge issue for all of us.
The Eco
And then-
Challenge in July. Yep.
Yeah, the Eco Challenge, that's what it is. Yeah. And then there's this little poster. You may have seen this before. We've used it. Just things you can do, people can do to encourage them to reduce their carbon emissions. So those are the things that are in the plan. I just wanted to kind of share that with you. But then I thought we'd just have kind of a general conversation about some ideas from all of you and what you're doing in your congregation. And I always think it's fun to learn from each other because I pick up lots of good ideas. So does anybody have any plans for what's going on in your congregation for Earth Month, Earth Day, Earth Week?
Well, one of the things that first we're talking about, we're going to decide this tomorrow night at our meeting, reaching out to some of our older congregants who are unable to take care of their grounds of their home, that they need help getting together and going and helping them to refurbish to rake and help with anything that needs to be done on the outside. And we're also looking at planting a tree in the liturgy. We're looking to do that on the church property. That's one of the two things that we're thinking of doing at this point. And I like the postcard idea.
Yeah.
So,
I like easy.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We like that.
Also, people can engage as they want to. They don't have to do it, but they certainly can.
Right.
And I love the idea of reaching out to your older people in your congregation. That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Okay. Other
So,
ideas.
Noni, you had mentioned the Plastic Free Eco Challenge, which is every July.
Yeah.
But every Earth Month, there's the Earth Month Eco Challenge. So
Eco Challenge, yeah, they have lots of good things.
there's 3 per year. There's one in April, one in July, and one in October. So there's the Earth Month Eco Challenge, and I like this because, once again, it's free and it's easy. 2 of my main operative words. So the Eco Challenge is an online event, and each year the one in April has a different theme. Last year was the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. This year, the theme is conservation. So basically, you can set up a team for your congregation, for your family, for your synod, whatever, and invite people to join. And then they choose the challenges they want to take on during the month. Those challenges could be educational, to learn about something. Those challenges could be in the area of service, to go out and volunteer to do things like planting trees, for example. Those actions or challenges, they call them, could be in the realm of advocacy, to contact your elected officials about environmental issues related to conservation. They could be personal lifestyle changes that you take on during the month. I mean, there's a wide variety of things that are included, and people get to select the ones they want. So when you invite them to join, they're the ones who choose the specific things they want to do during the month. And then there's some nice features online where you can communicate amongst the team, you can encourage each other, you can post questions, you can talk about your successes, your failures, your struggles with your challenges. So you can make it more of I guess a kind of interactive environment so that you can, as team leader, assuming you'd be the team leaders, communicate with members of your team, you talk about your own experience. And there's even a feature where you can challenge another team to a competition, because you do get points. As you complete these challenges, as people on the team complete the challenges, you get points. So if you want to gamify it and challenge some other team to see who can get the most points during the month, like maybe instead of having a team for your church, you invite members of your church to set up teams for their families or whatever. And then you say, okay, let's have a competition to see whose family team can get the most points during the month or whatever. So there's a lot of different options. And all of those things that I just mentioned, those are all free options. Now, are there some paying options that you can get with the premier version? Yes, there are. I have never used those. But all that stuff I'm talking about comes completely free. And it's all you have to do is go sign up and set up your team and send the link out to people, and you are good to go.
And it's just ecochallenge.org. What I'll do is some of these things that we talk about tonight that aren't on the plan, I'll go ahead and send out an email tonight to all of you. Those will also be included when the recording comes out, but sometimes it's nice to have it when it's fresh in your head. So I'll get those sent out to you tonight. So I'll get that Eco Challenge. I'll include Plastic Jesus too, if you're interested in that. Another thing that's coming up in April, we talked a little bit before we got started. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat for people.
Yeah. Okay. On April 16th, Blessed Tomorrow, which is a national interfaith organization, is hosting the National Faith and Climate Forum. So there is a wonderful list of speakers that will be presenting on that day from many different, not only Christian denominations, but other faith traditions. And the way that it's set up is that it's going to be broadcast all over the United States to host sites. You can also sign up to do it as an individual if you want to just listen in your home. But it's a great opportunity if there's something that's not too far from you to gather with other people at a host site and have fellowship and get to know each other and listen together. So I know that in our synod in Kansas and Missouri, we have 4 sites, but they're still getting host sites set up. But Lindsborg, Kansas City, Columbia, Missouri, and St. Louis all have a site. And then in other areas, if you look online, I can include that link too. It has a list of all the sites of where it's going to be offered. So hopefully there's going to be something that's close to you. Central time, it's 11 to 4:15. And then it shifts whatever. Eastern time, 12 to 5:15. So I think it's going to be a really, really good event. Spread the word, because I don't know that the publicity has been I mean, I think people who are in the Blessed Tomorrow network are hearing about it, but a lot of other people haven't heard about it. So
I think if you're on their newsletter distribution, you hear about it, and if not, you don't.
You don't, yeah.
It's pretty simple.
We were talking about with Kansas Interfaith Action, and they hadn't even heard about it. So
they don't seem to be doing a lot to publicize it, Noni. I agree with you. So do you know?
I don't know why.
You know,
it's because it looks excellent. It looks really good. The other thing I like about it is it's an opportunity to get people together in person, but you don't have to do the programming part. The programming is provided.
Free, easy.
Yeah, free and easy. There we go. That's our watchword for tonight.
The 2 main words.
Free and easy. So
those are my bywords, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
So Noni, I have a question for you about another free and easy option.
Yes.
I have not seen anything from the National Lutherans Restoring Creation about a recorded Earth Day worship, and they have been doing it routinely for some years now, but I missed the last national meeting. So did they say anything about it? Is there going to be a recorded service? Because I usually stream that for a group.
My understanding is that the plan is to have it. I emailed Phoebe last week I should have texted her because I think she gets a lot of emails to find out when it will be out. So what I'll do is
I haven't seen anything from her. So that's another free and easy, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we need it as soon as possible because, like, we have a new minister. I don't like to hit her with too much new information on short notice.
Yeah. I'll send her. In fact, I might do that while we're meeting, and maybe I'll hear from her by the end. What did I do with my phone? By the end of our meeting. And so
doesn't it usually come out just the week
before? If you get a date from her, because I want to sign up.
Yeah,
Mhm, but it-
unfortunately, it doesn't come out like Susan said. It usually comes out like the week
yeah, and I
before.
hate that. I wish
Yeah.
they would advertise it sooner so I could get it scheduled on my calendar when I know for sure it's going to be available. But I don't want to guess and schedule something and then something happens, right? So I
Yeah, let
haven't
me,
scheduled it yet. I've got it penciled in on a
okay.
tentative date.
I'm pretty sure that it's gonna happen. Um,
Yeah, but
I'm
until they
gonna,
actually put it out there, I'm just not gonna, firm
yeah,
things up, you know?
yeah. Um, okay. Does anybody else know anything more? Have they heard anything?
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. I will, um, I'm gonna send it right now and we'll see if we hear back from her. So if not, I'll find out and get that information to you all as soon as possible. Because it is helpful to be able to plan ahead more than a week. Yeah. So,
More than a month in my case.
oh, I know. It does help. Yeah.
So does
Okay.
anybody want another free and easy idea?
Of course, we like free
Always.
gifts.
Okay, so this is another one I do every Earth Month. So I work with a local parks conservancy organization. So in Houston, where I live, most of the large parks, well, actually all of the large city parks have associated conservancy organizations that are trying to, you know, help maintain the I guess the vitality of the park, the trees, the plantings, what have you. And so we just get a group of people together and work with one of the conservancy organizations at one of the parks to go and do whatever work they need us to do in the park. And why is it free and easy? Because the conservancy provides all the supplies, they organize all of the work, and we just show up. So it's free and it's easy. Now, there is labor involved. You do have to show up and actually do work. So from that perspective, I suppose it's not easy. But from the organizational perspective, once you have a date and a time locked in, the conservancy gets everything organized and you just show up.
Great.
So it's easy now, and you probably have either parks conservancies where you are or other nonprofit, environmental nonprofits that do some kind of volunteer work like that, hands-on stewardship. Maybe they're going out and, I don't know, picking up trash or whatever it is. Usually those kind of organizations will provide all the supplies, they will organize all the activities, and you can just show up.
That's a good
We
idea.
have, go ahead, Susan. Yeah.
I was going to say, our congregation is sponsoring an Adopt a Stream. So our local conservancy is based on water. We have our little beaver dam run. So we're going to have an Adopt a Stream workshop at the end of March, and then a cleanup on the 6th of April. So I think that goes right along with what you're saying, Lisa.
Is the conservancy going to provide all the supplies and help direct the volunteers and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Typical. We did a beach cleanup here at the end of February in well, it was outside of Houston because Houston's not actually on the Gulf Coast. But yeah, same thing. They provide all the supplies. They tell people where to go and clean. It's
Right.
easy. You just show up and you're boots on the ground and hands to pick up stuff and do things, and it's very easy then to do some hands-on environmental stewardship because you don't have to provide any supplies, you don't have to organize the activities. You're just a crew of laborers that will be directed by the nonprofit you're working with.
Oh, Lisa,
And they're very happy to have you.
how do you figure out who to
What's that?
contact? I mean, do you just Google conservancy in St.
Well,
Louis? Or,
I guess we're lucky in Houston is that there's a big directory of environmental nonprofits
okay.
that you can get online, and you can look at what all of them do, and you can figure out, and they have contact information. There's actually an organization that maintains all that information.
Okay.
If you don't have a directory like that for your area, and you don't have that kind of resource, then you're probably going to have to do some Googling. If you know what the large parks are in your area, see if there are conservancy organizations associated with them, or sometimes they're called friends groups, friends of such and such park, right? Or if you have water bodies like Susan does, you can see, if you can find Googling some friends group or conservancy organization associated with those water bodies. Luckily
And
here in
ours-
Houston,
yeah.
there's the big directory of environmental nonprofits that makes it
Mhm.
easy.
Ours is, we have a stream cleanup and it's through our city. So that might be another place to check. And another resource that you might check with in St. Louis is Pam Western. She is at no, Cindy Gross. Sorry, Pam Western's in Kansas City. Cindy Gross, who's on our call sometimes, she has lots of connections. So I can send you her email if you don't have it.
If you like the cleanups where they provide the stuff, if she's in St. Louis, stream teams, which kind of started with the Missouri River, but they do all kinds of stuff. I'm doing one out at Swope Park, but stream teams is who
Stream teams.
stream
Okay.
teams. Which that wouldn't work for other states, but certainly St. Louis it would.
So that might be, but I can send you Cindy's information too. She knows. Lisa's the one who's coordinating ours, so we're lucky she's doing that, and we're doing a little drive-in action grant so we can feed people pizza and pay for some of the other things during our Earth Month.
Yeah, if you have food, more people show up, right?
Yeah.
True.
So I just did a quick Google and said St. Louis Environmental Nonprofits Directory, and a link came up that was a directory of nonprofits. So if there's a directory of nonprofits, if they have them sorted by category, you can find the environmental ones. So I suspect there's probably something online wherever anybody lives that's some kind of listing. And I know, like in Houston, there's an organization where the nonprofits all list their volunteer opportunities. It's called Volunteer Houston. You may have something similar where you live. You can go in there and look at what kind of environmental or outdoor and volunteer opportunities are being offered by nonprofits. That can also clue you into what kind of nonprofits there are in your area doing those kind of activities. If you've got that sort of, one-stop shop to go volunteer in your area.
Okay, I have a little late breaking news here from Phoebe.
Yes.
She said, actually, I was incorrect. They only made 3 of those worships. They're not doing a new one.
They're not going to do another one.
She said it takes so much time, and they had thousands use it early on, but then last time they only had a few dozen. And so they just didn't feel like it was a good use of
insufficient return on the investment. Okay, well, thanks for the information.
So you can use the 3 are all online, so you can still use them from other years. And in fact, David, that might be good for your pastor.
If we could, either Peter's on here from our church, by the way.
Oh, Peter's from the church too. Okay, hi Peter. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Peter, I need to get you. Can you put your email in the chat so I can send you some information? Thank you.
Okay.
So anyway, so David, that would be those 3 that they've made are online on the Lutherans Restoring Creation website. So you could just use the one for whatever year we're in. I can't remember. I can't keep, now that I'm not in a church. I mean, I don't
can figure that one out.
We're in B. Are we in B? Okay.
Regardless, it's the one from 3 years ago, right?
Well, true. There you go.
I guess that would do the trick. Which leads me to my at Faith Lutheran, like Peter and I and the other fellow who apparently couldn't get online tonight, Jim Tater. We're all, really big on solar. So and our church is small enough that, we can get things done with just a few people, sort of, pushing the idea. The thing that I'm starting to discover, though, is I want the whole congregation on board with this idea. And I mean, not maybe enthusiastically, but what I'm finding is, people can't believe that you can actually put like solar on your roof, with that, well, up to 30% tax credit, and paying it off over, like, the payoff for ours is about 11 years, where you actually start, reaping the benefit of the solar, and then any increase in power costs will actually be a plus to that whole thing. And so basically what it comes down to, it's almost no cost over the long run, and there's
No,
actually
it's a
no cost on
net
the front
profit,
end
actually.
either, because it's all captured in a loan, the cost of the equipment. But the problem is, I'm finding is, like, people don't, either it's like, oh, I can't believe that's true. You can actually do it for almost no cost up front anyway, certainly. And or in the larger concern, I think is that, I mean, when people are weighing things, like, for instance, even though there's not any really heavy upfront costs, at least for us. I mean, if you have to replace a roof, that's another thing. But if there's no cost up front, people are, but they, they, like, still were committed to this big loan. And I'm more worried about that, in our financials, than I'm worried about the environment. It's like,
So,
the awareness still is not there among special act. It's not there against, like, it's not drill baby drill, that kind of stuff. We don't have that in our congregation. It's they're just not really tuned in, even though we've had tornadoes that have destroyed a neighborhood just down the block. But there are critical people that are tuned in. But I would like to conscious raise, on a broader scale with our green team, and
So
we're
I
going to
think-
be one way to do that. One of the things.
I think that what you're confronting is a misunderstanding. People are viewing installing solar panels as an expense. That is incorrect. Installing solar panels is an investment that pays off.
Right.
They have misunderstood the situation completely. Paying for electricity is an expense. Installing solar panels is an investment. And that is the key difference.
Yeah, the revenue is
And if you can show them the numbers,
and paying off
it
investment
should
and
be
plus.
crystal clear.
I know.
It's hard to convey. That's the surprise me. It's so hard to convey that it takes a little while for people, like, to sink in it. This is not a mortgage loan where there's no revenue. There is revenue. There
This
is
is
money.
a money
It's coming
generator.
from the
And in many
dollars you pay.
cases, it is a money generator from day one.
Right.
Because you get more from the solar panels than you pay to service your loan.
Right.
It can
That's
be a
what-
money generator from day one.
That's what we're
You
going
have
to
to
get
show
to.
them the financials. You have to actually do the calculations and show them the financials.
Yeah.
Well, with that is built into, work with we have this local Seal Solar, and they run all the numbers, and, that's part of their selling point, where, you see exactly how many, in our case, 11 years, and, it's all paid off. And then after that,
Are you cash flow positive in spite of the loan from day one?
Yeah, the way it's Energy too, which is our energy company. They don't even allow you to overbuild solar. Believe it or not, if you overbuild on solar, you might get yourself in trouble, because if you're paying off too large a number of solar panels and you don't have the revenue, because surprisingly, we really are pretty cost conscious. We've done the things like, go to LED lighting and things like that. So you don't want you don't want to have power there the best way to get the money back is actually saving on your energy costs, and it's not necessarily reverse metering it into the grid. In fact, what we have found, and people might be warned of this, Energy has decided that they don't want. We have a very Republican government right now here in Arkansas, and Energy has gotten through a bill which is going to allow them, come September 30th, to pay us back at a wholesale price, like as if we were a
Yeah.
power company, rather
A power
than
plant.
that we get back the retail value, so because, the difference is, in terms of cents per kilowatt hour and all that kind of stuff is substantial. And, your payoff takes a lot longer on your solar investment.
I wonder, Steve and Kathy might be able to comment on that because they're in a similar place. Yeah.
But
Sure.
do you have net metering where you are?
Well, let me give you the update
Yeah.
of where we stand right now first. On Monday night, I took a proposal to go forward with solar to our council. And after a lively discussion, including the loan, or is it an investment, and trying to convince people on council to look at it properly, the motion did pass. So that's a major step forward for us. We're very, very
for you.
pleased about that.
Yeah.
However, there's more to go. We have referred to financing options, one of which is Revolve, by the way, David, to our finance committee to make a recommendation. In the meantime, we're going to do a sales job to our congregation. And the congregation does have to have a special meeting to approve this, given the size of the budget that's in our Constitution. And it's something that I think is right to do anyway. So that's the next step. And yeah, we're finding a similar kind of misunderstanding, particularly among those on the finance committee who look at the end and how much we're spending. And this is a big commitment to our congregation of where are we going to be in 25 years or whatever. And we say, look, it's an investment and we're saving money on day one because our combined Evergy, that's our energy company in Topeka, our combined Evergy and solar bill will be significantly less than our monthly bill is now from Evergy. So we're saving money from day one, which we can then do whatever we want with, like, for example, finance folks put it on the loan to pay it down early, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, we're excited that it's gotten as far as it has, and I think the misunderstandings about all this do abound. Even though we've had an informational congregational meeting, we've had meeting with various committees at which folks have presented. It's still
a lot of work.
It's a hard sell. Yeah, and
Well,
unfortunately,
it's because
it's neither free nor easy.
well, and it's because it's something that we typically do not do in the church outside of our endowments if we have them.
Right.
That's why.
Exactly.
Because it's a
Okay.
foreign concept for most churches unless you actually have an endowment fund that you invest, right? Which
Right.
a large church like mine does, many small churches or even medium-sized churches do not. But if you don't have an endowment fund and your finance people are not used to investing on behalf of the church, this is a totally new concept. And you have to get them to turn their head around 180 degrees
Right.
Well,
And we
and
do have
understand that.
We do have a fairly substantial endowment fund, but
Then
the
why can't they
attitude
understand
of
that
the
this
church
is just
is you
like the
don't touch it.
endowment?
No, you keep that fund growing, and you keep investing in CDs and long-term investments and stocks and so on and so forth.
But
And
this
and
is
watch it
similar.
grow.
It's
You
like
tap
putting
into
money
it.
into your endowment and you're going to get a great return on what you put into that endowment, into that investment.
That's
They just
right.
It's the
don't
same
see it
thing as
that
if you put more money in that endowment and you were getting a return on your CD.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's our
You
hard
guys,
thing.
Yeah. Susan. Yeah.
you mentioned that one of your options was Resolve. Isn't that
No,
the
Revolve.
Revolve.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Revolve.
Revolve.
Yeah,
I
you
keep
said
wanting
that-
to
How
resolve.
have you enjoyed working with him, by the way? I haven't still had a lot of time working with Marcus, mainly because it's hard to get hold of. But Marcus Mason is my contact.
That was the main issue with Marquez. I had to go over his head a couple of times because he missed meetings. We were there, he was not there. Eventually, it's all been resolved. He did a beautiful presentation, for our council, for finance, property, and our Earth First committee. And he redeemed himself with that. And I've heard nothing but good things about the company itself. I think he's just overloaded. And as a
That's
result,
my impression
things
too.
get, yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to, my advice is keep on him and let him know that, if he wants your business, which is, you have to sort of nudge him a little bit.
Hmm.
But
And it's his is the PPA, right?
the PPA.
Yes.
PPA. So that's not even cash outlay at the beginning, is it?
No.
No.
No,
not
there's
whatsoever.
no cash outlay.
Wow.
And we're getting back.
What are the terms he's talking about with you? I mean, we haven't got financials yet to the point with him, and I'm not sure what he's looking at with you in terms of the investment terms, loan or what you call it, I guess.
I
He's
don't
looking
think you
at-
call it an investment. It's a lease.
No, that's not the lease.
Sorry, we're not doing the lease option.
No, we're
Oh, okay, that's what I was
Right.
asking. Okay.
We're doing, I forget the acronym, but it's one of the purchase options.
Yeah.
And that option is no money up front, a 25-year loan with a payment that is the same every month through the term of the loan, at 7%.
Okay.
And with no penalty of paying it off sooner, which is
Right.
the intention
Right.
of us doing that.
Hmm.
But the nice part is we don't have to put out that money up front, which to me is the one of the big selling points, so that people can start to see the benefit. And we're also going to offer, we check to see how much a panel costs. And that's one of the things that was suggested. We're going to let people know that they could purchase a quarter of a panel, a half, a whole, 3/4, whatever. And, to start to invest in it and to be able to then be able to reap the benefits of seeing how the church, it will benefit. And, who knows what's going to happen in 25 years if we based everything on, well, who knows who will be here in 25 years, we would do nothing. So we want to preserve what we have and keep and take care of our earth. And that's one of the big ways we can. So we'll talk with you, David, and all of you actually, to let you know how things progress.
Sure.
Because we have a couple of people that are really tough. They're going to be a hard sell, but we're going to
But I
work.
think, people like you, early adopters, you can be helpful to others who then approach this, because there will
absolutely.
be more and more
Glad to help.
churches.
And any of you wish to contact us directly to talk in more detail about this, we'd be happy to hear from you.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Have you made any projections about, the way they trying to fine tune it? They want to put in enough solar that you cover the cost of the investment or loan, or what you want to call it. And you know how much they're projecting you might save, like $100 a month or something, or whatever it is. Return on your energy, selling into the grid versus. Have you got any idea? I mean, having a little bit of margin of positive cash flow is what I want to have, because they don't want to freak everybody out, whether if over the course of the year you're losing money one year. I mean, over the long run, energy costs are going to go up, so we figure we're going to get our money back. But
the first year we should save over $14,000.
Well, you got a large congregation. You must have.
Yeah.
Wow.
We do.
So he said we would be saving 14,000. So that, and that's what we said.
Is that it? I'm talking about the difference between the savings in energy and the cost of paying off the investment. So, how that flows. I mean, because at $14,000 is a lot.
So is that equivalent to your annual electricity bill? Because most solar systems are designed so that you net zero every year, that you pay nothing.
Yeah.
So
That's
has yours been
theoretically
designed
where
to
it's
net
supposed to
zero?
go, but I want real life experience if possible.
Well,
Yeah,
nothing is
make
ever perfect, but has it been designed to net zero, and is 14,000 what you're currently paying for electricity every year?
No, we're currently paying about $23,000 a year for electricity.
Okay, so your system is not designed to net zero. Okay.
No,
Right.
Well, no, 14 is the difference, including the loan, though. So are you not
Correct.
paying anything for electricity?
We will
Yes.
be paying a small portion.
we will about
Okay, so it's not
You're
quite
paying
big
about a
enough to
third.
get you to net zero. Okay.
That's
A third- about-
remarkable.
But
Yeah.
a third of our electricity will be paid through Evergy. About 2/3 will be paid by solar per year.
Okay. So probably you didn't have enough available roof space that was unshaded to get you to net zero on a
Well,
generation versus consumption basis.
We would
something
have to
with the
put
light
in a lot of new equipment to handle the solar, but I don't think our energy company allows that either.
No, I think that was the glitch.
I think they limit.
Kansas has some very limiting factors that,
Yes.
Well, it's
that don't-
energy, I think, is limiting it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
City doesn't want competition. They don't want people
Oh,
with
yeah.
rooftops,
Yeah.
you know,
Right. The last
taking
thing-
away their money source, you know, which is putting solar, eventually probably putting solar on the fields when they get around to it.
Right.
In Arkansas, we've got
Last thing
solar
we want
farms.
is decentralized solar. So I don't know that we'll ever see battery systems that are affordable, that are large enough to be able to have us have churches go off the grid. That's the
So
last.
you're not putting a battery on your system.
We have the ability to do that later, but that will
Yes.
cost significantly more.
The batteries are expensive. There's
Yeah.
no question.
And we can also add more panels in time. I think he said up to 20 panels we could add.
Hmm.
That would be nice in our case too, because we like to put in, highly efficient. In the long run, I would like to see, heat pumps, rather than the gas furnaces we got. But the problem is, they haven't expired yet. They're old, but they're not dead.
Well, but you need
let's-
to look at your financials, right? Because gas furnaces are inherently less efficient than electric, and heat pumps, of
Right.
course, are very efficient. So you'd have to run the numbers. You may find a similar situation where you're going to save more money. I mean, depending on your cost of electricity, right? Because the heat pump's going to take electricity instead of gas. Depending on your cost of electricity, it may be another situation where, because of the reduction in natural gas expenditure, that you actually get a positive cash flow, even counting any loan that you take out to put in the heat pump system.
Well,
So
I just want to kind of be sure we have time for others to share as well. This has been a great conversation, but Susan or Lisa, Jane, Dee, and Bob, anything you want to share that's coming up for you guys?
Well,
Our church
uh,
does set up a table and has a lot of information about recycling and actually finding new products that you can make yourself.
Great.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to the 16th.
Yeah, because you're one of the hosts, along with Dee and
Yeah.
Bob. They're hosts.
Yeah.
Their congregation. is hosting.
Our church hasn't discussed solar panels at all.
That's okay. We
Yeah,
have
no.
Susan, you were going to share.
what I was going to say is that, based on the memorial that so many of our churches did back in 22,
Yes.
we looked at that from the Synod, Delaware, Maryland Synod, and we have prepared a resolution for this year's Synod Assembly that asks congregations, even before we get to the point where we know what we're going to be asking, we're saying, let's do this, basically. And we're putting ourselves on the hook for offering a collection tool. So I asked Lisa, actually, if she wouldn't mind being on our resolution as somebody that helps congregations implement the tools. And so, we quote the IPL and the EPA tools. And, I think it's a good thing, I hope it's well received, but I'm just starting to circle it around.
Would you be willing to share a copy? I don't need to publish it to others, but I'd be very curious because that's one of the things we're grappling with too. That'd be great.
And on the call that we just had with Keith, he told us about your resolution linking with peace, and that is such a cool idea. I'm hoping to get a copy of yours. So
yeah, we're going to discuss it this week. We're going to, in the Central States, we're going to put one on the environmental costs of war. So not only for this peace for people, but also peace for the land, for habitats and pollution, and just so many things that come with war.
Yeah, so wonderful. That's really marvelous.
Good. Yeah. Lisa Province, you want to share anything more that's going on at our church? There.
Well, other than we've got a creation care team now that's met a couple times with 2 other churches that are in our building. So we're just starting a little momentum. We've got some projects this month. Noni, we're doing the lights out for it's with
Earth Hour.
Yeah, turn the lights out. And then, of course, our stream clean for next month and our whole Earth Day. Maybe hopefully get some native plants in our garden. I have, because of other groups that I'm involved in, I just listen to, we do classes every Monday night. And sometimes, I mean, I like to walk away with them. Most of them will turn it at the end, but sometimes a lot of that information gets to be really depressing. The one last night was on poisons that you, and now I'd have to look at my notes to tell you, but so Missouri has the Ozark National Forest, right? And these chemicals are volatilizing and damaging the trees, which could ultimately kill them over time. And you're like, that's in a national forest where it should be protected. So anyway, but I like how it all ties in together. My interests, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. We're also doing a greening of the cross. Some churches do that on Easter. Yeah, we're going to
do that on Easter.
Yeah. And it's a way since all 3 of our congregations don't worship at the same time, people can put flowers on the cross when they enter the church, no matter what time they come. And we have a liturgy that we're going to suggest that parts of it can be used. And it's off the Web of Creation. I'll include that link too. So it's just fun to hear different places doing different things. Peter, did you want to say anything more? Or Dee and Bob, did you have anything to share?
Yeah, so as you said, Noni, we are hosting one of the National Faith and Client Forums in April. And we're hoping to get some ideas and kind of revitalize our green team. We kind of rebooted it recently, and so we're trying to get some traction on that. And then we're also looking at, doing the congregation calculator, the calculator, get our information in for this year, and then also go back at least 1 year, put some information in that and kind of compare and see how we can reduce, some of our carbon footprint. And then also we are looking at, looking into possibly doing some energy audits with, the electric company, gas company, and water company to see if they could provide us any information on things that we can do to reduce things.
Good. Yeah, energy efficiency is a huge thing. The more you save, the less you have to come up with to cover. Yeah. Peter, did you want to say anything?
Have for other things, right?
Yeah.
Peter, I think you got your microphone. You're on. No, you aren't. You got your microphone turned off, Peter.
There he is.
Yeah. No, but Dave identified the principal project right now. We have aspirations. We've got a brand new pastor, and we've been talking to her about doing some worship activities focused on on creation.
Good.
And then we also think that if we are successful in getting this solar project completed in our church, that we might communicate with some other congregations about that opportunity. Although
Excellent idea.
there's the law in Arkansas makes it you're grandfathered on your buyback rate if your project is completed by the September of this year, and so it's the window is closing, and so I don't know if what how it I don't know how the numbers will run for people that don't finish their project. It certainly won't be as attractive as it is now. So
different states have different
But California has already had that cut back to what I call wholesale prices rather than retail. So their solar is going ahead, but unfortunately they're like 10 years ahead of us as far as I think, well, maybe not. I mean, I was out in San Diego. I didn't see as much solar as I thought I was going to see out in California. So we'll see.
Well, I understand that the actual industry in California has been seriously impacted by that change. It's reduced the implementation because the payback is not as good. So anyway.
And make sure you buy, if you can, American-made panels, because you'll get an extra 10% back.
Yeah, we are in order to get the maximum federal.
That's built into the federal care credit. I mean, you qualify the federal credit, you have to use American-made, manufactured products.
Yeah, and we our contractor, our solar contractor, is assured us that the package will comply.
Good.
Well, we're just at the end of time. Oh my goodness, many
Check
things
the chat
going on.
because I forgot one resource that's free and easy.
Sure.
If you join the One Home, One Future program, they have a tabling kit for use during Earth Month. So I put that in the chat. So yet another free and easy option.
Free and easy. So the word for tonight is free and easy. But thank you. Thanks to everybody.
They're always
for
my
sharing.
words.
Thanks for sharing, and just if you need help with anything, this is a great group. You can contact each other individually. You don't have to wait until next month, but we will meet next month on April 9th, and have a blessed Easter and Holy Week in the meantime.